Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today from McFarlane Toys, in their DC Multiverse line, we are featuring Rebirth Batman. Alright, so Rebirth era Batman came out, it's post New 52, and I want to say Rebirth was maybe 2015 or 2016. So the costume design, it's a little bit dated, but still considered very, modern Batman. This figure came out, I think, second quarter of 2022. So, it's been out for maybe, I don't know, 9 months, if more so than that. It's pretty slick. On the back, we have some nice action figure photography and some other figures available in this assortment. There's Superboy Prime, we have the Joker, Hazmat Batman, Batman Beyond. It's the, which one was it? It's the blue costumed one, and then we have the Darkseid Luthor on the Apocalypse Throne. So, beautiful looking figure. So the one thing that makes Rebirth Batman different from the other ones, a good way of identifying him is by the color of the interior of his cape. Rebirth Batman has the purple cape, which is kind of like a callback to like old school Batman back in the days when he used to carry a pistol, because back then he was gray-black, and I think he had purple gloves. So I think the purple is a shout out to that. Speaking of Rebirth Batman, here's another figure that represents Rebirth Batman. This one is produced by Spin Master. This is their 12-inch Rebirth Batman design. As you can see, very similar. They have the same trim lines on the uniform, with the triangle on the chest right there. The same Batman utility belt. The same pattern on the crotch. Similar looking gauntlets for the arms. The only difference is that this one lacks the interior purple on the cape. But this is still a Rebirth Batman. And it's a great figure if you have little ones. The 12-inch Spin Master stuff is excellent. But back to focusing on the McFarlane figure. Let's get this guy out. So for me, every generation has their version of Batman. I grew up on the late 70s, early 80s Batman, and my Batman when I was a child was the gray and light blue uniform with the ovalized Batman logo on the chest. My generation Batman also wore his underwear over his tights. New 52 Batman, they kind of did away with the that kind of weird look of the underwear on the over the tight steel. And New 52 was light gray, black emblem, yellow utility belt, and a lot of weird panel lining on the uniform. And then after New 52, we got the Rebirth. Some cool accessories. We have his grapple gun and a batarang. And let's take the figure out. I'm pretty impressed so far, especially with the folds in the cape. This looks really nice. I remember when this figure first came out, there were some people that they kind of proclaimed this to be their go-to McFarlane Batman figure. But since then, it seems like we're getting a new Batman figure. We probably get 3 new Batman figures a month from McFarlane. And they're all really fantastic. I think they're great. And it's up to you which one's your, iconic version of Batman. Because like I said, every generation has a different Batman that they're introduced to. For some people, during the late 80s, early 90s, maybe your Batman was the Michael Keaton Batman, or maybe the Val Kilmer Batman. For a younger generation, your Batman might be the Arkham Asylum video game Batman. So it's a character that really speaks out to different generations. There's multiple looks for him. Alright, so let's take a look at Rebirth Batman, but real quick, here's his accessories. Again, you get the grapple gun and the batarang. So when this figure first came out last year, I kind of passed up on it. The reason being is kind of like, I kind of felt like I had all the Batman figures I needed in my collection, and the Rebirth era wasn't necessarily one I was fond of at all. It kind of like this came and went. I don't know. I was a long-time reader of DC Comics, but I kind of bowed out last year. I kind of got tired of them always kind of like, not necessarily resetting the universe, but they always felt the need to, like, at a certain point, it seemed like every maybe 12 to like 18 months, they kind of felt the need to, you know, create some sort of large event and make the comics more accessible to newer audiences, you know. So they gave us, like, you know, New 52, DC Rebirth, Infinite Frontier, you know, now it's Dawn of DC, you know, the list goes on and on. And as a long-time reader, I got tired of them just trying to, you know, reinvigorate all their properties. I kind of felt like what they were doing, you know, it works. You know, there was a reason why I was a long-time reader. But I don't know, I got kind of tired of all the, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, I don't want to sound like one of those bitter old men when it comes to comic books, but I just got tired of them just like reinventing the characters. You know, I kind of just want to keep my characters the way they are. But that's just me being old. Great looking figure. Back to this. The one thing I noticed is that the gauntlets, the design feels very inspired by the Arkham Asylum video games by the studio Rocksteady. You know, it's very gauntlet, armor-plated design. It's very reminiscent of the Arkham games. Some elements still kind of feel very New 52. Like, I kind of feel like the utility belt is kind of carried over from the New 52. As is kind of like these trim lines throughout his uniform. The New 52 costume is very heavy on these kind of like panel lining. I do like the interior cape color with the purple. It's kind of cool that it's kind of duo colored. Again, very impressed with the wrinkles and folds. The cape feels a little thick, so it kind of adds a little bit more weight to the character. And for a quick size comparison, here he is next to the McFarlane designed Batman. Keep in mind, this is one of the earlier figures, and a lot of the McFarlane DC figures from the start were kind of large and out of scale. So you can see a considerable height difference here, which has been a big complaint, you know, with fans, is that the McFarlane figures, you know, they're very inconsistent across the board. It's not like the Marvel Legends figures where, you know, Hasbro's been really good at keeping them all consistent in their sizes. The color choice on this is really nice. You're getting a dark gray for his uniform. The cowl, it's kind of like a midnight blue. It's not that it's completely black, but there's some subtle hints of blue in it, which I think is nice. And it kind of accents the purple really well. The purple is, I think, a beautiful shade. The contrast with the yellow outlining the bat emblem looks really slick against the gray. And also with the black stripes on the utility belt, it looks pretty cool. Love the boot design. Again, very Arkham inspired, you know, armor plating. In terms of the articulation, Batman's head rotates. Does he look down? Not so, yeah, it kind of looks down a little bit. Does he look up? Yeah, it looks pretty decent. You know, it's always a plus when you get a Batman figure that can look up. Arms rotate. Unfortunately, you're going to collide with the upper piece of the cape there. Goes out. Bicep cut. Double pinned elbows. One pin's exposed. So you get an excellent range of motion there. Articulated wrists, cut mid-torso, so you can, like, get crazy. And there's also a waist swivel. Legs kick up about there, and they kick outward. Double pinned knees, and then he has articulated ankles and toes. So overall, it's a very solid figure. It's not Batman's evergreen look, but it is a very modern look for the character. If the Rebirth era is kind of like your Batman. You know, I think this is a great figure to own. Also, I believe Mattel in their, you know, now foregone DC Multiverse line of action figures, they had their own interpretation of this figure also, and it's very close to this one. The only thing is I think their shade of gray is a lot lighter, but it also, I believe, retains the purple interior lining on the cape. DC Collectibles slash DC Direct might also have a Rebirth figure as well. I think that came out under their DC Essentials line, possibly in 2016 or 2017. So yeah, there's a lot of options when it comes to Rebirth Batman. You know, like we started at the start of the video, Spin Master, they have their version of Rebirth. So it's a costume design that's, you know, semi-popular. You know, it kind of populated Batman's lifespan from like 2016 to maybe 2018. So it's cool. I dig it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably rate this guy a solid 8.5 to a very low 9. I think it's fantastic, and it's a really well presented figure. Right, so with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.